called 7 for a reason. It's a lot of uphill and more uphill.
Here we are in Nannup, Western Australia for the UCI Gravel World Series Qualifier 7. The event is 125 kilometres and 3,000 metres of climbing, and some of the best Australian gravel racers will be here competing on Saturday. I have come back to 7 to try and better my time than I did last year. Last year the conditions were very muddy and didn't suit me, so I'm hoping for a better performance. I'm feeling stronger, so I'm really looking forward to the event, and it's a fantastic event, so got to be here. Now due some storms and potentially some heavy rain tomorrow, so race day conditions will probably look quite a lot different. The rain has arrived with a big storm that's just gone overhead. I'm hoping the rain subsides before tomorrow. It's pretty wet right now.
What made me want to do 7 is that I'm from South Africa and we've got a couple of really awesome races, and the race just appeals to me. It's got all the challenges. It's got gravel, it's got a lot of climbs, a lot of preparation, a lot of planning. So, you know, bikers always want to test themselves, and I think 7 is really one of those races that you can really test yourself and push you to the limits.
I wanted to do 7 even from the very first time I visited here with supporting an athlete, and the vibe and the buzz of the event is just electric. It's so good, and after last year I really wanted to come back and try and do better than I did last year. But the course conditions are probably going to be pretty similar, so it's going to be interesting.
In November last year, just building a bit of a base, and as we got to this closer to the race, we started tapering off a bit. I fell a bit ill the last 3 weeks, but I guess as good as it gets. We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
This year the training has been a little bit different. I'm knowing a little bit more about the event and what's required. I've had to be quite creative and lift my front wheel up on my trainer to be able to get some elevation, some muscle adaptation. Just don't have the elevation in Adelaide over the distance to do that, so I've had to do some specific training on the trainer. I've also been doing some heat training, so training at a higher temperature, so when you're racing colder you get an increase in blood plasma. And I've also been doing a little bit of Norwegian method training, so that allows a different zone models to use for training.
I had to make a lot of changes in terms of training for 7. My wife would say this is the last race of the year. You know, early morning starts, I work full time, so I had to maybe start at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the mornings to train. And over weekends, especially with the longer rides gearing up to the race, I had to sacrifice a bit of family time, but I guess it will pay off tomorrow.
Training this year has, as always, is pretty difficult, having 2 teenagers who are pretty full on and the stress of managing all that.
My nutrition strategy for tomorrow has stayed the same. I'm a firm believer, and I guess everybody believes the same, is that you need to train on your nutrition and then just apply it on race day.
To aim between 60 to 90 grams of carbohydrates per hour.
Part of the course that worries me the most probably is the last couple of climbs. Everybody that's ridden 7 before tells you that just reserve enough energy, reserve enough of yourself to actually get over the line. So I guess the last two climbs are those that worry me the most. But I also look forward to them. Again, it's just to prove yourself.
Some of the descents from last year I remember being quite technical, big gullies across the road, and muddy, potentially with the rain we've had today, it could be quite muddy, and that makes me quite nervous.
Leading up to a race, we tend to be really worried and anxious, am I going to make it or not? And I love the first 5K, because then all those worries are gone. You enjoy the ride, and that's why we ride.
I was looking forward to the first climb through Brockman's, through the farm. It's just a beautiful climb, but this year with the rain it's going to be as slippy, as muddy as it was last year.
For finishing in a certain time, I don't really have a gauge in terms of what times I would want to go at. six and a half hours, thereabout. It's a bit drier this year than last year, so I've got no idea. Normally I would do a race the first time around and scout it out and come back the next year and say, well, let's do better than last year, and that would be my hope for tomorrow. It's just to finish the race, feel good about my training, maybe come back next year and improve on my time.
I feel a lot stronger and my climbing has improved and my descending. The course conditions this year is worrying me a little bit. Qualifying is always going to be a big ask for me. I'm still hoping to be top 5, maybe top 10 at the outside, but it just depends on how the course goes. My body and my bike have to get around the course first. Here we are, race day. Let's see how the day unfolds. Good luck to everyone.
Thank you, UCI Gravel World Series race that is 7. Hey guys, it's okay, easy guys.
First 5K. If it's all like this, it'd be awesome. Here we are, Brockman in the pain.
I don't think I've ever been in a race with a cow before.
It's called 7 for a reason. It's a lot of uphill and more uphill, and I was commentating to some of the riders around me, is that, does it ever end? And the answer was no, it ends with the oval. But I had a bit of a patch just before the 100k where I thought I was starting to cramp, and I took something for it and it went away, so it was good.
Okay, 25k in. Conditions are almost perfect. Couldn't have asked for better. Feeling really good. The conditions on the course today were absolutely perfect. There was a few sketchy areas, but I don't think the rain made any difference to the course. In fact, it probably improved the course. 36k, feeling really good. About to go down a big hill. That means you've got to go up again. Oh joy.
My tyre choice was a bit up in the air up until yesterday morning. There was a lot of rain coming down and I changed to a more muddy tyre, and it was a brilliant choice. I had all the confidence in the corners and downhill, so it was a good choice, yeah.
More up. Now, 57 k's. We're on climb number 7 of 19. Conditions are still really good. Still feel all right. A long way to go though. I've got pre-halfway blues. I always feel slow until we get past halfway, and then I get a bit of a second wind.
If I was to do 7 again, I don't think there's much that I would change. I might go a little bit harder in the first half of the course, leading up to the checkpoint at 74 k's. because I was really reserved in terms of going a little bit harder. I was checking my watts every climb. So I was a bit clinical, I think, and then thereafter it was just, well, we've got 50k to go, let's just go.
The biggest area that I struggled with was Ellis Creek climb. It's just after the halfway point and it's a longer climb, and I was really starting to feel it quite there. I think it's about 70 k's into the event. My back was seizing up a little bit, but I knew I'd get up it. I just needed to dial it back a little bit and get some energy in. Overshot the corner a little bit back there. Didn't have a lot of control. If I was to do the event again, I think I would like to do a little bit more distance work in my prep, but other than that, the preparation was perfect. The specific intervals that I was doing were ideal, and then just getting out on the gravel and doing the climbs, I didn't feel that I was lacking apart from that one climb. And I think that was just a little bit of fatigue, which managed to overcome. So yeah, training was great. Just over 25k to go. This climb, I think it's 15 of 19. If you were to come and do 7, it's definitely one of those events that has a buzz and a spark around it. It's a really welcoming event, but I think you definitely need to put some training into it. You can rock up and do it, but it's just going to be a much longer event. If you don't train, you're going to be out there for 8, 9 and 10 hours is the cut-off.
Come do it, it's an amazing, amazing race. You get to the top of a climb and you just have these amazing views of the valleys. There was mist today and it was just, the sun was coming out. It's an amazing race. The camaraderie of the people around you, the encouragement, it's just a magic place. Should I go harder? Should I not? You know, everybody was telling me, just conserve your energy, conserve your energy. So the part I enjoyed the most was actually the single track, about 10 k's from the finish, and it was just fast rolling, and I had a couple of competitors we were chasing each other. So that was the best part of the course today.
Luckily, volunteers are moving very, very quickly. Another one really strong as well, so.
How you feeling?
Wrecked, absolutely wrecked.
I was up in the air in terms of where I want to finish and what time, because I've never done it before. So I aimed for 6 and I finished in 5:25, which is amazing, and I did qualify, yes, so quite stoked about that.
So today my finishing time was 6 hours and 23, and I was 5th place, which meant I actually qualified for the World Championships. I still can't believe I actually managed to qualify. I'm over an hour faster than I was last year. Yeah, absolutely astounding. I'm really pleased with how I managed to get through the event. The best part was discovering I'd actually qualified for the World Championships in Belgium. I can't believe it. I'm absolutely over the moon. By a stroke of luck, by the numbers of women who'd entered, and actually putting in an effort to catch somebody in my age group was worth it, because if I'd gone one place later, I wouldn't have qualified. So I have actually qualified for the World Championships thanks to the women who entered the race. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about the training that I did, including the Norwegian method and the heat training, drop a comment below or send us a message. See you at the next one. Thank you.